KB with Nerdophiles. Thank you so much for chatting with us.
Oh yeah, of course.
I discovered Virgin River during lockdown, and I immediately became smitten. So I binged watched it, within like a day, and it's just so lovely. So I'm so excited to be chatting with you.
Thank you. Yeah, it seems to be the kind of show that people can just turn on and then they just let it roll. Just let it roll.
Yes,
It's
yes.
easy, and it's pretty. And
Oh, it's a
yeah, so
gorgeous set.
it is. I know it's beautiful. Vancouver is really quite stunning. It was freezing when we filmed the first season, but it looks very pretty, and we don't look so.
You guys don't look cold. I was just about to say it looks very spring-ish, like you guys are all warm and you are probably like dying on the inside, like shivering every scene for sure.
Yeah, because we were shooting from December to March in Vancouver, and it's freezing during that time.
Oh my gosh. Well, kudos to you guys because you make it look so nice and cozy for sure.
Thanks.
So Mel is such a sweet and bold, brilliant, and also broken character, but I think that's what we love about her because she's just really a great example of all of the layers that we as women, are and have the right to be. So
Mhm.
tell me, just what's something that you've learned from Mel as a character that you've taken into your personal life?
Um, well, what's interesting was I I feel like I actually used a lot of my personal life for the character because of her complex losses that she had gone through. And unfortunately, I've had a few losses in my own life. So diving into those dark places was kind of too natural for me, so
Mhm.
to speak. Um, but in that, what I was trying to convey, and hopefully, I think this will sort of you'll see this arc happen a little bit more in the second season, was her grief. She's very grief stricken in the first season, and she's really trying to overcome it, and she doesn't want to let it drag her down. But grief is all consuming, and it is very hard to get over. And there's a lot of personal growth and strength we see in Mel throughout the first season. And I think what you'll see in the second season is she finally starts to come out of that dark grief. And um, I was hoping that, putting all of my own experience with grief and loss into the character, and showing her rise above it would inspire people that might be going through those traumatic events in their own lives as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you mentioned it, but because Mel's journey for me really in season one was just about her kind of starting over and really just escaping the pain of her husband's death. But in season two, we really see her starting to kind of confront his death and deal with like forgiveness of herself and of other people, and really just finding herself again in that strength. But a lot of that strength and that patience is really tested through her relationship with Charmaine. So can you just tell me
Mhm.
like a little bit about like what that complex relationship with Charmaine kind of has taught Mel about herself and about love even this
Oh
season?
my gosh, that is complex. Um, you know, the tension that she has with Charmaine is, obviously, Mel doesn't think she can have her own children. And in has to find um, empathy and respect. And she's a nurse. She became a nurse, and so I think that's sort of like what is driving uh, her to maintain a civil relationship with Charmaine, even though Charmaine likes to press Mel's buttons quite a bit. Um, so I think throughout this second season, it's a real struggle for Mel to maintain uh, that sort of level of respect, because Charmaine doesn't like her at all. And she's not making it easy for Mel to try to help her through a pregnancy, which we'll see. I don't know how much of that I'm allowed to get into.
Yeah, it's interesting because Charmaine definitely does not like Mel, but we saw that in season one. You know, she kind of views her as competition, and she's really not the only one who doesn't either. I feel like in season one, Doc as well is kind of very much anti Mel, but this season their relationship evolves immensely in a very beautiful way, and it's really a joy to watch kind of Doc view Mel as a partner this
Mhm.
season. So tell me just a little bit about kind of what your favorite kind of Doc Mel interaction is this season, because I really did enjoy how that relationship is flourishing.
Yeah, well, I think it was actually it's always fun to get into it with Tim Matheson. It's always fun to have a good argument with him, as our characters, obviously not in real life. We get along really well, but so that aside, I think that they get into it now and then. And but Doc is an older man and he's very set in his ways, and he wasn't ready to have someone come into his practice and sort of to share his space with. So it took a lot for him, especially at his age. As I said, people are become very set in their ways at that point. So he found that we see a softness develop in him for Mel. Um, because she holds him to a high standard, and she won't let him uh walk all over her. She says, I am here, I am a woman, and this is my place, and we're colleagues, and you know deal with it. And I think he finds respect for her through that. And they develop kind of like a father-daughter relationship throughout the second season, which is really lovely to see, because you don't see Mel with her parents. I mean, she's you know, lost that in her life. And so it's a lovely dynamic. And those are some of my favorite scenes with Tim. I'm trying to remember between the first and the second season. Um, there's a scene where Mel is paying tribute to Mark, and uh, Doc and Hope are there by her side, and it's a really lovely moment, and you can see how the three care for each other very deeply. However, quick that scene was, but it was really lovely.
Yeah, they become almost like her surrogate parents, almost like Jack's as well, because I do kind of feel like they also kind of serve as Jack's kind of surrogate parents a little bit. And
True.
so
Yeah.
it's nice to see that. So really my last question is about Jack and Mel. You know, I feel like in season one there was a bit of a tug of war. You know, Jack knew very firmly what he wanted, but of course, like you mentioned previously, Mel is grieving, and so she's not really concerned with opening her heart to someone new. But in season two, we see that kind of soften a bit. So, just what do you want fans to take away from this dynamic in season two, and kind of where do you hope that it goes if you guys get season three?
Um, well, yeah, that does it kind of does go along with what I was saying about her overcoming her grief. She definitely didn't move to Virgin River looking for love. She was really trying to escape her loss. But I think the dynamic between Mel and Jack is really just undeniable. And um, there's a lot of obstacles that get thrown in their path. And of course, one of them is Charmaine. That's probably the biggest one. Um, I think Mel was, pushing back, pushing back, pushing back in the first season, and then decided to be vulnerable and open her heart. And then, of course, she got a rude awakening, and so she started to push him away again. But I think that's I think they're going to go back and forth for a little while, and that they love each other so much. I hope they end up together in the end. But they have a lot. They have a lot of obstacles to get over. Uh,
Tons and tons of obstacles.
tons of them. Gosh, they just keep flying at them. And I know in the books it's not that way, but this is television, we got to keep people on their toes.
Oh, absolutely. Well, thank you again so much for chatting with Nerdophiles. I absolutely
Ooh,
adore the show, and I'm so
I'm so
excited for you
glad.
guys.
Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy season 2. Oh, you already watched it. Duh.
Yes. Yes, I did. I'll probably rewatch, honestly, but yes, it's fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.